In class 5 of Python, we are going to understand about built-in data types present in what? Python. So the data types which are already present in the language are called as what? Built-in data types. What are the different data types that are present in the language? There are 10 data types exist, okay, in the language. First one is numeric types, which are int, float and complex. Then Boolean data types, that is what? Bool. Then string data type, that is str. Data type name is str. These are the data type names, okay. This side, these are called as data type names, okay. Then sequence data types are what? List, tuple and what? Range. Map data type is what? Dictionary. Short form is dict, okay. Then set types are what? Set and frozen set. Binary types are byte array and what? Bytes. None type is what? None. So these are the 10 different data types are present, okay, right. These data types are again categorized into two. One is mutable types, next one is immutable types. What do you mean by immutable? Immutable means constant. Constant means not changeable, okay, right. Then mutable means what? Changeable. Changeable. So not constant. Not constant means what? Changeable, okay, changeable. Changeable types, okay. So like this we have changeable data types are there. Then not changeable data type, that is what? Constant okay, constant data types are there. So immutable means, I repeat, means please, constant data types, and mutable means what? Changeable data types, okay. So when we come to the mutable data types, we have list, set, dictionary and byte array. These four comes under what? Mutable types, and all remaining types comes under what? Immutable types. So like int, float, complex, bool, str, tuple, range, frozen set and bytes and none, okay. This is what. Now we are going to understand about immutable types. We are going to understand, okay, mutable types. Let us first of all understand mutable types only. I am going to explain about list, okay. I am going to explain about list. Let me explain on this particular board. Suppose, what do you mean by this particular list means? Let us understand here. Suppose x is equal to, I write list value should be kept in what? Square brackets, like 5 and what? 6. Therefore x is a list, okay. X is a list. Like this one array will be created, 0 and 1, okay. Now what happens is 5 is stored here and 6 is stored here, right. Now if I print here, okay, if I print okay, this is what the list, I print what? X. Then when I print the x, I'll get what? 5 and 6 as the output, okay. Now I can also do the changes to the values present in this one. X of 0 index is equal to, I write 9. Yes, this is allowed. So x of 0 index is now stored with what? 9. Is that clear? Now if I try to print the x, what happens here? It is going to print 5 and 6. Like this, in this particular list object, this is called as list object, what we called as, okay. In the list object, the contents can be what? Changeable, okay. We can modify the values. Therefore list is a mutable object whose values can be changed, okay. Whose objects can be what? Changed. This is what. So do you understand that? This is what? Mutable objects whose values can be changed. Clear? Right. Now we are going to understand about immutable types. Example, we are going to understand what? Integer. Now we are going to understand about what? Integer. Let us discuss integer type, okay. Let us take integer type, okay. Right. Now what generally happens here? Let us take one variable and we will study over here. Suppose I have taken a is equal to 12. Press enter. Okay. What happens is one object will be created. I say that one object will be created. Assume one object will be created. That object is stored with a 12. This is called as integer object. Okay. And this object is immutable object. Okay. Immutable object. And this particular object 12 is assigned to what? A is a reference variable. So a is a reference variable created which is pointing to this object. Okay, how? Let me show you. So let me show you the address of the object. Let me say that print id of a. Okay, id of a. What is this id of a? id is a predefined function present in the Python which gives address of the a object. So a object address is this particular big number is called as the address of the object, but I will write the last 4 digits here. Okay, so what is this address of the object means? Let me say that. So this object address is 5176. This is what 5176 is the address of the object. So this object address is this 5176 and that address is assigned to a here. So a is stored with what? 5176. This is the address. Okay, right. And now you cannot change the a value. Now the a value 12 you cannot change. Okay, 12 address of the object, which value of the object you cannot change. Okay, let us say example. Now b is equal to, I am saying a, or b is equal to 12. Let's say that. Again, one more variable I am creating, that is what? B. What happens in this case? Now if you observe carefully, this 12 is an object already present here, which is what? Immutable, constant, whose value will not change. Therefore the same object now assigned to what? B. Assigned to what? B. Means b is a variable created which is also assigned with the same object address 5176. This also points to this one. Because it is immutable object which cannot change its value, therefore it can be a and it can be what? B. Okay, so this is what happens with its same object. Now if you want to see, let me show you what is the id of b. Yes, id of b is also same, and you can also see the a value and b value is also what? Same. Is that clear? So id of a and id of b are same, and a and b values also same. Like this, immutable objects are used by number of variables. Number of variables it will use because the values are what? Constant. Okay, let us say now c is equal to I am saying b. Assume what happens now? Now the b value, tell me what's the b value is? B value is what? 12. See, b is nothing but what? 12, whose object address is how much again? 5176. That 5176 will be assigned to c. Therefore c is another variable created, okay, which is also stored with 5176, which points to this one. Like this, now the 12 is an object is sharing or using by number of reference variables. Okay, and if you print what is the id of c and what is the value of c, you can see both, all are same. See, ids are same, all variables ids and values are same. Okay, nothing but a, b, c points to the same object 12. Suppose now I am changing the value of b. Assume b value I am changing to, let's say that 15. Okay, now tell me, does 15 object is present in the memory? This is the memory, please. This is what the memory. Okay, this is what the memory. So in the memory there is no 15 object. As the 15 object is not present in the memory, then it will create an object called as 15. Okay, one more integer object is created, and which is also what? Immutable object. Okay, now see, now this 15 object is created at different location, different memory location. If you want to see id of b, and I can say that b value I will print here. So what is the id? 5272. Okay, so here b is now stored with, what is b stored with, please? Let me change the color. Yes, now what is happening here? It is this b is now going to store with what? What is the address of this particular 15, please? This 15 object address is what now? 5272. Therefore this object address is 5272, which is assigned to the b. Now 5272, this is assigned to the b, and now b is pointing to this one, not pointing to this particular object. Is that clear? Okay, so this is how it is going to work, but we cannot change the value to, this integer object. For example, if I say, okay, let us say that I can say that a is equal to a plus 1. I am saying, assume a plus 1 I am saying. What is the a is actually? 12. This 12 object I am adding one value. See, what it becomes? 13. 13 should be assigned to what? A. But what happens is, in the a, it will not change the value, but instead the new object will be created for a. So you can see that what is the object of a now? A is 13, that is 13 is nothing but 5208. So what does the Python did here? It is The a value is actually how much? A value is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 is not present in the memory. Therefore, what happens? 13 is one object created, and whose address is what? 5208. One object is created with a new value. That address is assigned to what now? A. So A will be now, what is the value is? 5208, which is pointing to this object but not pointing to this object. Is it okay? Right? This is how what happens is. So in the memory, immutable duplicate objects does not exist. 12 only one object will present. 13 only one object will present. Object with 15 value only one object will present. So no duplicate content objects will be present. Okay? Do you understand that? Right? So this is what happens with the immutable objects. So immutable objects are the objects whose contents will not change. Is that clear? Right? And that immutable object is used by number of reference variables. This is what you have to understand regarding immutable. Okay, this is what immutable types I have explained, as well as what mutable types also I have explained. Okay, right. Now the first data type that we are going to understand is what? Int data type. Okay, we are now going to understand about what? Integer data type. So what are integers? Integers are numbers without decimal points. Okay, and int objects can store integer values of any type. Okay, so any length, I mean to say. So integer objects can store integer values of any length you can store, and moreover int objects are what? Immutable objects, means constant objects whose values cannot be changed. Okay, then int values can be specified in binary, octal and what? Hexadecimal. What does it mean? Let us understand with the help of an example. Okay, so let us get back to this particular thing. Let me close this particular IDLE and let me open once again the IDLE Python. So this is the new screen that I am taking now. Okay, so if you observe here, I create one variable, x variable I am creating of integer 120. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Yes, now what is the type of x, please? Type, data type you can know by using x. Okay, type of x, and I can say that x value. Okay, so x is an integer variable created that is stored with 1 2 3 4. And what is the data type of x? So data types are internally represented by the Python. Okay, so therefore this value does not have any points. Now this value is considered as integer, and therefore this x data type will become what? Integer data type variable. So if you want to know the data type of any variable, you can use type function. So print type of x means what the data type of x is? See, class int, it's showing what? Int data type. Okay, and x value is what? 1 2 3 4. Got it? Right. Now I say y is equal to, let's say that I can take any length value, any big value I can take it. Yes, integer variables can store a value of any length. There is no limitation. Now if I try to print this particular y value, yes, it will print that particular value. Okay, this is what integer variables are, integer objects we can say. Okay, next int values can be specified in binary, octal and what? Hexadecimal. Okay, you can specify the value of a variable like this, a value of variable. This value you can specify this value in a binary, octal, decimal and what? Hexadecimal. That is what we call as any numbering system we can specify. Okay, so let us understand what is mean by binary. Okay, right. Binary is nothing but, I can say that what is a binary? Okay, binary values contains what? 0 or what? 1. 0 or 1. Okay, 1. 0 or 1 binary, and whose base is how much? 2. 2 is the base. The base of that binary value is how much? 2. Then if you take octal value, what is that octal? Octal contains 0 to 7 digits, and the base is what? 8. And if you take a hexadecimal, okay, hexadecimal is nothing but what? 0 to 9 digits will use, as well as A to F, and they are what? 16 digits. Okay, total 16 digits we are going to use. And when we come to the decimal numbering system, okay, decimal numbering system, when we come to decimal numbering system, 0 to 9 digits we are going to use. The base is what? 10. Okay, so in general, integer numbers are written in the form of what? Decimal numbering system. So this decimal numbering system, we write the numbers using 0 to 9 digits. Now we are going to understand how to represent integer values in binary, octal and hexadecimal. Okay, so binary value means 1100 is a binary value. So whenever you write a binary value, that binary value should begin with what? 0b or what? 0 small b or 0 small capital B or 0 small b. So binary values should begin with okay, 0 capital B or small b. Okay, right. Then octal value, see, octal should contain what? Digits from 0 to 7 only. So see here the digits I am using 0 to 7 digits only. Okay, right. So 546, this is 0 O, please. This is what? 0 O. Okay, so this is what? 0 B and this is 0 B. And here 0 O, please. 0 O. Any number that begins with 0 O is considered as what? Octal value. So this O can be small letter capital or it can be what? Small letter also. Okay. Then 0x stands for, this is a hexadecimal value. Okay, 0 small x you can give or capital X. So 0x represent that it is a octal value. Sorry, this is an hexadecimal value. Okay. Let us take an example and we will study here. Okay, let us take an example and we will study over here. Suppose A is equal to 0b. Okay, 0b you can write in small letter or capital letter. 11, okay, 00 I am writing here. 1100. Press enter. Then what is the value of A? A value you can say it is 12. Okay, and if you want to see the type of A, it is an integer type. So this is what? Okay, you can represent an integer value. Okay, an integer value you can represent in what? Binary. So this binary value is converted into integer and assigns to A. Therefore A is 12. So variable always stores with integer value only. If you give in binary or octal or hexadecimal, it will store as what? Integer only. Okay, therefore the variable is integer integer value and integer data type. Okay, similarly I want to specify the octal value 0b. Okay, 526, let me say that 526 is the, sorry, not 0b, 0 O, octal. Now if I try to print the A value and the type of A, you can see it is also integer. So when we store this octal value in the variable, it converts into integer. So what is the integer of 526 is 342. Okay, right. Similarly I want to show store what? Hexadecimal. So therefore 0x, let's say dad means what? What is the dad? Here I said that hexadecimal contains what? 0 to 9 as well as A to F. A to F means A, B, C, D, okay, E, F. Therefore dad is present A to F or not? Yes. Therefore what happens if it is 0 to 0x dad? Okay, now A value you can see that 3501 and the type of A is what? Integer. So like this, integer value you can specify in binary or you can specify in octal, you can specify in what? Hexadecimal. Okay, so this is what happens with the int data type. Okay, now we are going to understand about second data type, which is called as what? Float type. Please, float type. What is this float? Numbers with up to 15 decimal points are what? Float constants. So numbers with points are called as what? Float constant, but it can have the 15 decimal points. Okay, then float objects are also what? Immutable objects. So what do you mean by that? Let me show you. First of all, close this particular IDLE. Again I open IDLE. Okay, so you can see that x is equal to, okay, 5.1234. let's say that this is. So what is the x? Okay, I can also print the x and I can say that type of what? X. See, what's the data type of this x variable is? X variable is what? Float data type, because it is having points. So when the value contain points, now that variable becomes what? Float variable. Okay, but don't mention here, please don't mention 0b1100 point, okay, 10. Don't specify, please don't specify the binary value, octal value, hexadecimal value, okay, in the form of float. Okay, so float values cannot be represented, in binary, octal or what? Hexadecimal. Okay, this is about the float data type. Next we are going to discuss about what? Complex data type. So what is a complex value? A complex value is a combination of real and imaginary values. Okay, Complex object is immutable. Okay, so let me tell you this particular thing. What happens with this? If you observe carefully, what are the complex values? Okay, what is a complex value? A complex value is a combination of two things. One is real value, next one is imaginary value. Generally real value will be positives and imaginary will be negatives. Okay, so let us understand this particular thing. Let us understand this one, and with the help of one small example we will discuss. Let us see here. Okay, sorry. Okay, let us understand this particular one. Okay, right. Now what happens is I am going to give something like C1 is equal to, okay, 2.4 minus, okay, then 6.23 j we have to give. This j represents, this value is a complex value. Okay, if you are not writing j, what happens is 2.5 minus 6.23, it will calculate and the result will be stored in the C1. So I am telling to the Python, don't do calculation, it is a complex value. Okay, that we indicate by using what? J variable. Then press enter. So how this is, say C1 is going to store means, C1 is an object like this. I am going to write now, C1 is an object where it is going to store like this, real and what? Image variable. Okay, in the real it is going to store 2.5, and when you come to the imaginary it is going to store what? Minus 6.23. this is what, how it is going to store in the memory. Okay, suppose if I try to print C1 and the type of C1, if you observe carefully what happens. See, C1 means 2.5 and minus 6.23 j, and the data type is what? Complex. Suppose if you want to print the individual values of this particular thing, you can write C1 dot C1 dot real, and what I can say that C1 dot what? Imaginary. Like this we can print. So C1 dot real, C1 dot what? Imaginary. Like this we can print the individual values of this complex. Okay, so like this we can do. Is it okay? Right, this is about complex. And if you want suppose C2 is equal to, please, C2 is equal to like 7.2 minus 9.3 j. Okay, second complex object. You can write, please, C3 is equal to C1 plus C2. Yes, you can do the calculation like normal calculations. Okay, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division you can do, no problem. Okay, so this is about complex objects. Now we are going to understand about what this particular Boolean data type. Okay, Boolean values are true and what? False. True and false are what? Boolean data types. Bool objects can store only true or false values. Okay, it can store what? True and false values. Okay, then Boolean object is immutable object. Immutable object. How? Let me show you this one. So for example, let's say that I can take some status. Say status is equal to, let's say, true. Then I can say print what is that? Is status, and type of what? Status. Okay, this is what? Okay, the status is true. See, T should be capital. Okay, then that is a Boolean type, right? This is what you can create the Boolean variables. Fine. Next, then strings. And okay, we are now going to understand string data type. What is a string? A string is a sequence of characters of any length. Okay, and a string object is also what? Immutable object. And single line strings you can write either in single quotes or you can write in what? Double quotes. And multi-line strings, okay, multi-line strings you can write. Multi-line strings can be what? See, 3 single quotes you can use here. 3 single quotes. Inside the 3 single quotes you can write multiple lines, or you can write in what? 3 double quotes, please. This 3, inside 3 double quotes, okay, you can write multi-line strings. Okay, let me show you this one. So let me close this screen, open a new screen. Let us open a new screen. Okay, here we are going to understand, right. Suppose let me say that name is equal to, okay, let me say that vmk code tutor. Okay, tutor, let's say that this is what? Single quote. Now I can print, very simply I can print, that is name and type of what? Name. Okay, and suppose I want to print, suppose address. Okay, address is equal to, okay, I am giving in 3 double quotes. Okay, so this is what I can say that Gopala Swami, okay, Gopala Swami, okay, Swami temple, okay, Warangal, Telangana. Like this, if I want to type the string in multiple lines, then you can use what? 3 single quotes you have to put it, okay? Then end with the 3 single quotes, press enter. Now you print here, print what? Address. That's it. This is how it's going to be done, okay? So this is what the strings, and strings are also what? Immutable data types only, whose values cannot be changed, okay? Fine. Next we are going to understand about what list data type. So one more data type also we will discuss. This is list data type, which is mutable object, please, okay? Mutable object, just for understanding purpose we discuss here, okay? X is equal to any values that you put in the square brackets, these values, okay? This particular object is a list object, please. Any values that any collection of values that you put in the square brackets is a list. Remember, just understand is a list. This is what X comma type of what? X, okay? Because list is a common object that we are going to use, that is why just I am giving. But in the future coming classes we are going to understand in depth of this particular list data type, okay? In depth we are going to understand. As of now you understand this one, clear? Okay, this is a list data type that we have discussed, okay? So what are the data types that we have discussed so far, please? Let me talk about the data types that I have explained here. One is int, float, complex, boolean, str. These data types we have understood, and the remaining data types we are going to understand in the coming classes, okay? So that's what happens.